We'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon and welcome to the May 5th, 2026 Salinas City Council meeting. I'm going to call this meeting to order and I'm going to ask the city clerk to speak up.
This meeting is available in Spanish for members of the public in attendance and on Zoom. Translation devices can be obtained in the foyer. Esta reunión está disponible en español para los miembros del público y en Zoom. Las unidades de traducción se pueden obtener en la entrada de la rotonda.
All right. This meeting includes teleconference participation by Councilmember Barrera from Avenida Olas Atlas 79 Sur Mazatlan, Sinaloa, Mexico, pursuant to California Government Code Section 54953. Zoom webinar participation is available for members of the public. The Zoom webinar ID and link are available on the posted agenda item on the city website. And with that, will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, with that, we are going to get started with a consideration item, and we will receive a report from the city attorney. Oops, roll call. Sorry about that.
Roll call, Councilmember Barajas, absent. Councilmember Barrera.
Here.
Councilmember Diariga.
Here.
Councilmember De La Rosa.
Here.
Councilmember Salazar.
Here.
Councilmember Sandoval.
Here.
Mayor Donahue.
Yes, yeah, I am here, and now we will consider stuff, so we'll look for the city attorney.
So thank you, Mayor. As the council is aware, Councilmember Barajas has missed 3 consecutive city council meetings, including this meeting. This meeting brings his total absences to 3 consecutive meetings. Councilmember Barajas is suffering from a medical condition that prevents him from being able to attend or to participate in city council meetings. Salinas Charter Section 6.2 provides that a member of the council who is absent from 3 consecutive regular meetings shall forfeit the member's seat unless excused by the city council on account of absence from the city on city business or illness. The reasons shall be entered upon the minutes. A copy of Charter Section 6.2 is provided for the council on the dais and will be made available to the public through the agenda if it has not been already. On April 27th of this year, the city manager and I received a letter from legal counsel representing Councilmember Barajas requesting that City Council excuse Councilmember Barajas from City Council meetings up through and including June 30th, 2026, due to his ongoing health issues. A copy of this letter is provided for the council on the dais, and again, will be made available to the public through the agenda if it has not been already. So this afternoon, we're looking for council action on 1, excusing Councilmember Barajas from being absent for 3 consecutive meetings, including this meeting, on account of illness. And 2, excusing Councilmember Barajas from attending future council meetings up to and including June 30th, 2026 on account of illness. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll look for council member comments or questions. I'll start with Councilmember Sandoval.
And just to clarify, Mayor, we're going to ask questions and then there'll be an opportunity for members of the public to comment and then we'll have final comments and direction. Is that correct?
We'll be looking for action if there's, as always, if there's an additional comment. This would now be the time for questions, and then we'll go out to public, and then, but you'll have an opportunity to make whatever comments you want to make.
Sure. So is the first time that we are hearing from this on April 27th? Is that correct? This is the first communication that we received on April 27th?
Are you directing the question to me, council member?
Yes.
So the city manager and I met with Councilmember Barajas several weeks ago and had a conversation with him. This was prior to his first absence from the council meeting. But the April 27th letter is the first written communication that we've received from his legal counsel.
Okay, and then during this absence, will Councilmember Barajas continue to receive compensation from the city of Salinas and insurance benefits?
Yes, he is still a sitting council member, and just as any council member who misses a council meeting, they continue to receive their compensation and insurance benefits during that absence.
Thank you. And then Councilmember Barajas sits on several boards, regional and both Housing and Land Use, the Rodeo Oversight Committee, and have appointments been made to those boards to fill the vacancies during this time?
So with respect to the regional boards and commissions, there are alternates that have already been appointed to those boards and commissions. So those alternates will just assume the role as they would in any normal circumstance. And with respect to the city internal committees like the Housing and Land Use Committee, they can continue business with 2 appointees. 2 would be sufficient for a quorum for those.
Just for the Housing and Land Use meeting, we've had to cancel them recently, and we have an upcoming one, so how can we, I mean, would it be prudent to appoint somebody else in the interim to the Housing and Land Use Committee?
No, that's certainly a question for the mayor's discretion, but if the meeting had to be canceled, there would have to be 2 absences and not just 1, so.
Correct. So Mayor, will you be appointing somebody in the meanwhile to the Housing and Land Use Committee, the rodeo oversight, and then respective to the Salinas Valley Recycles Board? I don't think we have an alternate appointed, so will there be an appointment for that position?
There is an alternate for the Solid Waste Authority, and I will take a look at the other committees.
Okay. And then, in relation to, and I had sent you an email yesterday related to some vacancies that we have on our city commissions and committees that we've had for a long period of time. I think Eric has brought those to our attention. Will you use your authority to fill those vacancies?
A couple of things. Some of the positions, attendance has been an issue with some of these things. In terms of vacancies, I will take a look at general applicants and take a look at making some appointments. I'm also planning on meeting and have been planning. We're working on getting set up. I also want to meet with, because I believe for a long time, and I think we all share this, the commissions are important. And I'll be meeting with the chairs of the various commissions to talk about their roles so we can be doing more things like we are with the Traffic Commission. But the answer to the question is I'm going to work with Patty to go over the general applications of folks who want to participate, take a look at that, and then we'll try and address that shortly.
Okay, those are all my questions.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Barrera.
Yes, thank you. Mayor, there was a question brought up. As far as phone calls, emails, how are we going to take care of that with the constituents in District 1 to be able to support Councilmember Barajas?
To the mayor and council, to the extent we're aware of that, we'll respond. I've been attending some of the meetings and responding accordingly. So we'll just get that information out.
Right, and then there was,
So I would urge people, if the council takes action today, just to reach out to our clerk or to my office directly, and we'll address it accordingly.
the
Thank
other
you.
thing is there was a recent meeting in that district. Council members Salazar and De La Rosa were there and indicated at that time they're happy to follow up. And then I'll work with them, and then I'll plan on scheduling a meeting myself in that district in the near term.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, thank you, Tony. All right, Aurelio.
No comments or questions at this time, thank you.
Gloria?
I don't have any comments or questions. We're ready to make a motion. I'd like to make the motion.
Okay, after we hear from the public, we'll go ahead and do that. Thank you. Margaret, anything?
No questions, no comments.
All right, we'll go ahead and we will go out to the public, 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, Jose Guerra, Montebello community. It's kind of weird that you guys are all of a sudden hearing that he's ill. I mean, the public needs to know if someone is not going to be here, especially District 1, which aligns with District 2. And for Tony to defend and say he's going to help District 1, he can't even run District 2. No disrespect, but he can't. And that's, excuse me? You have your chance, ma'am. And like I said, the buddy system up here has got to stop, guys. Hold people accountable. If he's not going to be here, find somebody else. I know we all get sick. We all have that stuff, but there's paid time off or whatever they call it, FMLA. I'm sure you guys get it too. Why we got to continue the buddy system? We got to stop that up here. I thought this would be a better council when I first came about it, and I'm seeing that I'm very disappointed. And y'all have your heads down, except you, Gloria. I mean, you're the only one that's probably real up there, no disrespect. And Aurelio, I mean, everyone else. I like Andrew, he's stepping up and telling people what's up, you know, and he's giving information. No one else is doing that here. You know, you guys have your little parties and your pictures and all this on your Facebook. But look at our roads. Look at everything we have. Our infrastructure is failing. All that money that we got from Amazon, nothing's being done. We don't have it yet. We don't know where it's at, what's going on. I'm asking these questions because I'm very upset because I'm tired of being a resident here and being railroaded, but you guys not doing your job. You know? Do your job, please. Don't worry about someone else's district. Run your district. Run your district. And Mayor, you should have all that stuff covered already. Shouldn't be all of it, look into it. What's that? To me, that's a slap in the face. That's telling me you're not even doing your job. Should have been done already. Should have been done, guys. Come on. Please, do your job. I'm going to tell you one more time, do your job. Or resign. There's a lot of people out here that want your job. God bless you and thank you, guys.
Good afternoon. Name is Eric Peterson. About 70 years ago, my parents took me to my first city council meeting. Since then, I've been to a variety of meetings in a variety of places. In that 70 years, I've called publicly for the resignation of one person, Mr. Barajas. He is not doing his job, has not been doing his job, nor does he seem to have an interest in doing his job. Or, for that matter, making any attempt at really representing District 1 or the residents of Salinas. He seems to have overarching interests not related to Salinas or being a council member. Clearly, he needs to go away. No leave of absence, just go away. Maybe he can take a class in civics at Hartnell College and learn how things are supposed to work. Or maybe he could volunteer feeding homeless people in Salinas as a previous District 1 council member did. Or something else tailored to learning about how the city's supposed to work. District 1 deserves an election to choose a council member who actually represents them and who is actually willing to do the job. And just for what it's worth, when I was first appointed to District 3 Traffic and Transportation Commission, it was by then Mayor Alan Stiles. That system worked well. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else from the public?
Rain down here, that's okay. I was not aware anything was wrong with him. I mean, that we had complaints about him. But I can tell you, I have invited him to come down our, the only time he came in my area was when he was campaigning and I wasn't home. But I've invited him to come out so he could see the problems. And lately, we've had a lot of problems with graffiti. In fact, as I was leaving home, there's something going on in Del Monte right now. And we've had graffiti right in front of those two places where the police are right now. And yesterday, you had someone out there painting. I was ready to call in about it, but I do know there's big stuff going on there. He's never had a meeting that he's invited anyone in our area that I know of, unless you did social media, and most of my people don't, in my area, don't pay attention to that because they go to work really early in the morning until late at night. And, but I'd like to, I'd like to have had him come out and I could show him, introduce him to some of our neighbors so he could know who they were and stuff. But I can't get much, he never calls me back or nothing, so. Well, I don't know what the problem is, but I just wanted to let you know what's going on in our area because we haven't had any meetings that I know of down at either at the schools on Sanborn or any of our areas. So just wanted to let you know. He's a nice kid, but he's a kid as far as I can consider. So anyway, he talks good, but I haven't seen him do much work out here. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? Okay, we will go to see if there's any hands up on Zoom. Okay, Marisol?
Hi. I think the essence of the issue is the lack of transparency. The moment City Council and the city manager found out that there was going to be a potential leave of absence, that should have been brought forward. This continues to lend to the distrust that the community has. I agree that when someone deals with medical issues, there should be grace. There should be an allowance. There should be an understanding and willingness to provide them time to heal. However, it is the lack of transparency that really affected us, that affected everybody sitting here who has a concern with this issue of missing District 1 representative. So please, ideally, do better next time in this sense. We need to be made aware as soon as things happen. I wish the best and a speedy recovery for Mr. Barajas. But again, we need to be able to make sure that District 1 has consistent representation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, anyone else? Okay. All right, we will come back to council for final comments and action. Andrew, if you had some additional comments.
Yeah, I just want to get a clear understanding. So the members of the public are going to reach out to Councilmember Salazar and Councilmember De La Rosa with questions and concerns, and they'll be the ones taking the lead on following up with his constituents, or who will be that person?
No, what I indicated, as the city manager indicated, that that questions that come or concerns that come in from that district can continue to come in through the city manager's office. Councilmember Salazar and De La Rosa and I will be setting up a district meeting shortly to deal with the district to provide some availability. So it'll be teamwork.
And then you didn't really provide a clear answer on the appointments of, you're going to look into them, or you are going to make appointments?
I would expect to, but I'm going to take a look at it. There has to be a sufficient pool of applicants, and as we all know, sometimes, and this issue of appointments is not limited to, as the city attorney said to Councilmember Barajas, other vacancies exist from time to time, and finding the right people. But I will take a look at the pool that's out there, and we'll look to get them filled as quickly as we can.
Yeah, and just from a procedural standpoint, just so the public knows, this is like, for example, the first time I've seen a letter from Councilmember Barajas' attorney. I think we need to work more on being transparent. It's the first time the public is hearing the request for the date of June 30th. Traditionally, in a staff report, there is supporting materials that help us make better decisions. And so I'm a firm believer that some of this information should have been made public when we posted the agenda. The discussion about, or the question about salary and insurance is because it's taxpayer funds, and typically if you're going to stop work, maybe you'd go on disability, but the decision is not only here as a leave of absence, but 3 months of paid salary. So I know the letter and some of this documentation is going to be made public, but doesn't seem to be made public until after the fact. So those are all my comments.
Thank you. All right. Anything else? We do have a motion on the floor. Is there?
I'll second it.
Right.
Yeah, Mayor, I had a comment.
Okay. Go ahead, Tony.
Mayor, I think we're hearing, I know we're governed by HIPAA rules on serious issues like this, and we do hope that Councilmember Barajas for a speedy recovery. On the other side, I think we need to do a better job as a team of how we can be more transparent on information that we can share with the public. I know we're trying to do the best possible work or representation, but I think sometimes when people don't know what's happening, that creates even more rumors, even more suspicion and concerns. So I would ask the administration as well as all of us, we need to work on that transparency. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? All right, let's, Chris?
I just want to be clear with respect to the motion made by Councilmember De La Rosa. It's to excuse Councilmember Barajas from being absent for 3 meetings, including this one, on account of illness, and excusing Councilmember Barajas from attending future council meetings up through and including June 30th on account of illness. Correct?
Okay, and we have a second for that motion, and we'll go ahead and call for the question.
Councilmember Barrera?
Yes.
Councilmember De Rigo?
Yes.
Councilmember De La Rosa?
Yes.
Councilmember Salazar?
Yes.
Councilmember Sandoval?
Abstain.
Mayor Donahue?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you. All right, we are going to proceed to closed session, and then we will return. Says we'll be back here at 4:30, so we anticipate it to be relatively quick. So hang in there.
Mayor, public comment.
Again, and if there are any department directors in the house and you have new employees, let us know.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm pleased to announce that we have 5 new employees in the Community Development Department that have joined us. First, Jessica Aboites. She is a Community Outreach Assistant in our Advanced Planning and Project Implementation Division. She'll be supporting all of our community plan as well as general plan outreach, and she has over 15 years' experience in community-focused roles. Anthony Vasquez is a Community Outreach Assistant for our Housing Division's Street Outreach and Response Team, SORT, and he has several years of experience coordinating with local police and nonprofit organizations to assist people in recovery. Samuel Hernandez is a Community Outreach Assistant for our Housing Division, and he will be focusing on the administration of the Rental Assistance Program. And he began working with our department in June of 2025 as a temporary permit clerk. Vanessa Ibarra is a Plan Checker 1, so we have Vanessa and Will. So Vanessa Ibarra and Will Chesebro have joined us as Plan Checker 1. So we're very excited to finally fill these positions. Vanessa has 6 years of experience in the tech industry as a project manager, and Will previously worked in commercial construction in the Bay Area. So we look forward to bringing their expertise to support our plan review processes. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Selena Andrews, Finance Director. It's a pleasure to be here, Mayor, Council members. I'm pleased to announce Anthony Guido. He's been with the city for 4 years and recently joined the IT team as a business systems analyst. And while he will be supporting all departments citywide, his focus will be public works and community development. It's also a pleasure to announce that Carlos Ortega has been promoted to Deputy Director of IT. He joined the city in early 2024 and received his master's degree in information systems while here at the city. Since joining Salinas, Carlos has consistently demonstrated exceptional leadership, technical expertise, and a forward-thinking approach to leading technological advancements. Under his guidance, our IT program has achieved significant milestones. Very happy to announce these 2 promotions.
Good evening, Sam Klemick, your fire chief, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you Sean Brennow, who is our new deputy fire marshal. After an exhaustive search, Sean comes to us by way of Riverside, and I'm going to have him come up and tell you a little bit about himself, but we're really happy to have him here. It's been 30 days tomorrow that he's been here, and he hasn't sat down long enough for me to really get him in front of you because he hit the ground running. So this is Sean.
Good afternoon. Thank you for selecting me. I'm really excited to be here. As the chief mentioned, I spent the last 9 years at Riverside County Fire Department as a senior plans examiner there. Prior to that, I was with City of Napa Fire Department and Fresno County Fire Department. I started my career 31 years ago with the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire Department in Sacramento after I got out of the Air Force. I've had the chance to actually meet several of you already, shake hands and say hello. As well as some of the community members. I was looking at a lot of different departments, and what really drove me to select Salinas was the family feeling that I got, especially during the interview process, talking with the chiefs, and then getting to know some of you here and getting to go to some of the community events. And I got to tell you, I'm really happy. I feel like I made the right choice in selecting Salinas, and I think you guys made a great choice in selecting me. So, thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council
council members. Our police chief and assistant chief are at a training conference, so I'll share the police department's new hires with you. We have Anthony Martinez. He is a police recruit that was hired started April 9th. Adriana Nicole Rios is a community service officer that started April 6th. And Bobby Isaiah Rodriguez is a new police officer who just started on April 27th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. I'm here to introduce 2 new hires in Public Works and 1 promotion. We have Jonathan Martinez, who's a public service maintenance worker, and David Joseph Pastore, who is a wastewater operator in training. And then a promotion, we have Yamalith Rojas Alvarez, and she's been promoted to the Public Works Compliance Officer. She started as a temporary person in Public Works, moved over to Community Development, has now come back to Public Works as a Public Works Compliance Officer, and she's right here in the back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. All right, with that, we're going to do a little proclaiming and have some important groups to recognize. We will, I think, Larry, you are here. I'll have you step up to the podium, and we'll start out with the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Whereas Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month is a month to celebrate and pay tribute to the contributions of Asian and Pacific Americans towards American history, society, and culture. And whereas the United States Congress in 1977 designated 1 week in May for such observance, followed by an expanded time period to include the whole month in 1992. And whereas Asian American and Pacific Islanders comprise many ethnicities and languages, and their many achievements are as pivotal in society. And whereas these individuals are leaders in all aspects of American life, government and industry, science and medicine, education and sports and armed forces. And whereas the city of Salinas joins in the celebration of the Asian American and Pacific Islanders and their contributions towards cultural richness, diversity, and generosity. Now therefore, I, Mayor Dennis Donahue, on behalf of the Salinas City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month and encourage all residents to celebrate this special observance. And that's dated this 5th day of May 2026. So congratulations and thank you, and you have the podium.
Well, thank you very much. We have some Chinese, Japanese, and Filipino representative here, but that's only a small portion of the Asian American Pacific Islander group. But we're very appreciative of this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to, and rather than give public comment, I'm going to give part of my public comment at this time because it's representative of the Asian Cultural Fair. So first, I'd like to thank the mayor and the city council for supporting us and being there at the event itself. It was very successful, well attended, and we really appreciate your support. Especially the city was very supportive, especially the Lisa Murphy and Public Works as far as cleaning it up. It was very, very nicely done. We appreciate that very much. And Public Works was also very integral in providing all of the barricades and work as far as getting it operated. So thank them. And also a big shout out to Michael Batchelor, Sergeant, who helped out as far as prior to the event. He was very instrumental in increasing the presence. So we had a very safe environment as well. We hope that will continue. So we're very appreciative of that. And so the other integration of that is that Asian Cultural Fair is one of the largest part of Chinatown revitalization as a project itself. So we consider it an important part of that, and we appreciate that we can be a part of this, and also we invite the community to understand we have a vibrant Asian community. We may not live there, but it's still a vibrant Asian community which has a goal of creating a very livable Chinatown.
I'd also like to thank the residents of Salinas and out of Salinas who attended the Asian Fair. It was very well attended this year, And the support means a lot to us because, like I say, the city is putting a lot of money into the Chinatown revitalization. And hopefully everything goes through and we fix the Chinatown area. And thank you for your support for the Chinatown area and revitalizing it. Thank you.
Thanks, Morris.
On behalf of the Chinese community, we want to say thank you very much for everybody's support. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, photo ops. Okay. Hang tight. We're gonna, I'll read all the proclamations and then we'll do, then we'll change sets for each of the photographs. All right, next up, National Military Appreciation Month, also in May. Whereas the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are secured by the dedication of the members of the United States Armed Forces, and whereas National Military Appreciation Month is celebrated every May and is intended to recognize the 6 branches that make up the United States Armed Forces, the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, and Coast Guard, representing those who serve on land, at sea, in the air, and in space. And whereas today the United States military includes approximately 1.3 million active duty service members supported by reserve forces and military families who share in the sacrifices of service. And whereas the sacrifices made by all members of the United States Armed Forces and their loved ones are to be valued, and the brave men and women of our community who served and enlisted deserve our recognition. And whereas we dedicate this month of military appreciation as a symbol of unity to recognize, honor, and support the commitment and sacrifice of current, former, and fallen members of all branches of the United States Armed Forces. Now therefore I, Mayor Dennis Donahue, on behalf of the Salinas City Council, do hereby proclaim May 2026 as National Military Appreciation Month in the city of Salinas and recognize the service of all current and former military personnel, and that's dated this 5th day of May 2026. So congratulations. Thank you. Okay, and one more. Okay, this one's just a week, but an important week. This May 3 through 9, 2026 is Small Business Week. Whereas small businesses are the energies of job and revenue creation in the United States, and this fact comes to life in the city of Salinas. And whereas the city of Salinas recognizes that small businesses are a core component of our local economy, they provide essential services, pay taxes, and contribute to local charitable and community efforts. And whereas small businesses provide jobs, generate revenue, and bring unique cultural and social element into our community, and whereas the United States has proclaimed National Small Business Week every year since 1963 to highlight the programs and services available to entrepreneurs through the U.S. Small Business Administration and other government agencies. And whereas the city of Salinas encourages residents to patronize local businesses during Small Business Week and throughout the year, and join in this national effort to recognize the contributions of small businesses to the American economy and their importance to ensuring that our local communities remain as vibrant tomorrow as they are today. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Dennis Donahue, on behalf of the Salinas City Council, proclaim May 3 through 9, 2026 as Small Business Week and encourage all residents to recognize small businesses for the contributions they make in our community. And that's dated this 5th day of May 2026. So congratulations to our small businesses. And we will have Colleen Bailey and the chamber receive that award. So we'll go in the order, Larry, and your group's up first for photo ops.
picture first? Picture first? Okay.
Thank you, Mayor and council members, for this proclamation. It's an honor to stand here alongside our veterans and many organizations that support them, including the American Legion, local chapters, Monterey County Semper Fi Fraternity, the Salinas Hometown Banners Program, Hartnell Veterans Club, Monterey County Vietnam Veterans Memorial Committee, and the Veterans Parade, and many more. This month is really about those currently serving and those who have served. Throughout May, we recognize important days that remind us that the service and sacrifice throughout May, so the service and sacrifice, Silver Star Banner Day, Military Spouse Appreciation Day, Children of Fallen Patriots Day, Armed Forces Day, and Memorial Day. Each one honors a different part of the military community and the sacrifices made not just by service members, but by their families as well. We honor not only their time in uniform, but the continued impact they have in our community. This proclamation reflects a shared commitment to our veterans, and we're grateful to the city for standing with us.
Short people in the front.
Can't see Salas. You're in front of Salas, John. There you go. Oh, no, we just take it. All right, ready? 1, 2.
Yeah, we got through that.
Okay, Nathan, then Colleen.
All right. Thank you, Mayor, City Council, for the proclamation for Small Business Week. Just want to say, you know, small businesses are the lifeblood of our community on there, so I want to thank all the local small businesses that contribute back to our local economy and everything that they do. So thank you.
Okay, thanks, Nathan.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for recognizing the small businesses. We know so many of those small business owners are working in their business day in and day out, so they don't have the opportunity always to be here and to be celebrated. But thank you for making this possible and for honoring them, and I'll make sure they get the message how much they are appreciated by their city leadership. So thank you again.
Thank you, Colleen. Okay. All right, with that, we are now open for public comment on items that are not on the agenda and that are in the cities of Salinas' subject matter jurisdiction. Comments on consideration, public hearing items, and the consent agenda should be held until the items are reached. Public comments will be limited to 2 minutes per speaker. And with that, and then each person who addresses the city council during public comment shall do so in an orderly manner and shall not make any personal, slanderous, or profane remarks to any member of the city council, city staff, or the general public. Any person who makes such remarks or who uses threatening, personal, or abusive language, or who engages in any other disorderly conduct which disrupts or disturbs the meeting may be asked to leave the city council chambers. And with that, we are open for public comment. 2 minutes.
Good after eve, everyone. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. My name is Kimberly Bryant, and I am here to just release blessings over our city and release blessings over each one of our council members, our mayor, our city manager, our city attorney, and our city staff. I want to thank each one of you for the work you do and the time that you dedicate to each one of your districts and the city as a whole. I also want to pray healing for Jose, that he can come back and do his job just as he planned to do it when he ran. I would also like to pray strength over those of you who are running a race this year. Just pray strength for you and strong immune systems so that you're able to do all that you need to do in order to run and to win your district. And I just thank you. God bless each one of you.
Thank you.
Karen Cameron, concerned Salinas resident. I'll do my best to make it through. I'm struggling with an upper respiratory infection that came on last week after the winds and after toxic restricted pesticides were applied within 1 mile of my home. I can't prove the correlation, but it sure seems coincidental. I was highly disappointed that none of you, except Andrew Sandoval, showed up at the California Department of Pesticide Regulation Environmental Justice Advisory Committee meeting that was held right here conveniently in Salinas for you to participate. I wasn't asking you to go to Sacramento. None of the Monterey County Board of Supervisors showed up. None of you showed up. There are critical issues at hand. May 11th, I expect each of you to publicly comment in writing, requesting an air monitor in your city. It's criminal that they took it away in 2017 and we don't know what we're breathing. A lot of the decisions that are coming down from CDPR require intervention at the highest level. I'd like to see the city council and the county begin to intervene at the state level and cry out, because it shouldn't just be citizens like me. If you look at the environmental justice element of the general plan, which again has public commenting, deadline May 11th, everyone should be reading that and aware of what's going on. It does show pesticide accumulation for outlying areas. Baranda, 99%. Castroville, 95 to 99%. Moss Landing, 99%. Pajaro, 79 to 100%. What does that mean? I assume 100%. And that's where they're measuring our air from. I just feel this is criminal, and I'd like to see each and every one of you get involved. What is it going to take? I mean, we fought hard to get them to come to Salinas to make it convenient for you. But none of you seem to be concerned like I am about the pollution that's being caused by the biggest industry in our city. We need to do better for our health and our safety.
Thank you.
I'm allergic to formaldehyde. I've had chronic sinusitis surgery. It's ongoing.
Thank you.
How many others of us are sick?
Hi, good evening. Jose Guerra, Montebello Community. I agree with her. I was at that meeting too here, and I got invited last minute. I don't see how the mayor wasn't here, how the city manager wasn't here, or any of the people that are supported by AG up here. How come none of you guys were here at the meeting? Because they're all funded by AG. You should have been here. Sad, real sad. Let's talk about transparency. Once again, I'm going to tell you guys got to do your job, man. I'm tired of coming up here and trying to tell grown people what to do, how to do their jobs. You have one district, do your job in your district. It's real simple. You're the mayor, make sure they do their job. Mr. Mendez, you're the city manager, make sure they all do their job. And the city attorney, make sure they all do their job the right way. That is your job, to keep them in line, to make sure they don't, cross any lines. You guys need to listen to the people. You want Measure G to pass? The way things are going, nobody trusts you guys right now. Read the polls. People are doing their surveys, and there's no trust in the city right now. I don't mind if you spend money here and there where you need to, but don't abuse it. You know, don't give money to the people that are wealthy, like the Wacom Center. Really, you know, it's the only Wacom Center I know that is funded by the city. Everything else is funded through nonprofits, and people donate their own money. And I went to the one in Paso Robles the other day, and the same thing. I asked. It's crazy how when you do a little research, you find out the truth. Why are we funding rich people? Why? Because they take care of your guys' campaign donations? That's sad. If that's true, I don't know if it is. I don't care. But it's sad if it is. And if you're working for them, you're not working for the city. And once again, guys, please do your jobs. And if you want to come and have coffee with me, I'm at Starbucks all the time, 8 to 10. Constitution, come see me, come talk to me. Doesn't have to be political. Come be a friend. Let me know, and I can have people that let you know how they feel that go there every day. God bless you guys. Have a good night.
How's it going? My name is Daniel Munoz, Eastside resident. I recently found your city guys spraying herbicides, right, Roundup. And since then, I came and I spoke to let you guys know what was going on. I made a video. I think 30, 40,000 people seen it, right? And you guys are still doing this. You guys are still spraying, Renee. You're still spraying poison in the city. People have been sending me videos. They're still doing this. Is it really cheaper to spray thousands of dollars worth of poison than it is to go and pull the weeds? Is it? I want to know, is it cost effective to poison us? Now, speaking of poisoning us, there was a meeting with the Department of Pesticide Regulation, and Dennis, you're the ag tech mayor, and you didn't show up. Why wouldn't you show up to something like that? You show up to every photo opportunity that you can, right? They open anything, the opening of an envelope, you're there for a photo op, but you're not at the Department of Pesticide Regulation as the ag tech mayor. That's very disappointing. They're poisoning us. They're poisoning our children. I mean, you have an office at the Taylor Building. You should go talk to Bruce. He makes billions of dollars a year. He could buy pesticide air monitors for every side of town if he really wanted to. Maybe you should have a conversation with him, Dennis. Maybe you could ask him to protect us. He's making billions off of us, off of our backs, and off of our children, and we're breathing poison. Can you please they only have this meeting every 6 months, Dennis. And they don't have it in Salinas all the time. And you couldn't even show up to this one meeting. It's very disappointing. I'm very disappointed in everybody that didn't show up. You know, Andrew showed up. He was the only one that showed up. So maybe you should show up next one, maybe in 6 months if you're still around, Dennis. Have a good one. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon. Name is Eric Peterson, and I thought I would point out a couple local veterans organizations that were left off the list that was read earlier. One being Disabled American Veterans, which is unfortunately a huge organization made up of disabled veterans, those of us who came out banged up one way or another, as well as many, many paid employees and volunteers to help those people. A lot of them are banged up a lot worse than I am. And the other isn't active so much in Salinas, but is very active on the peninsula, and that's Veterans for Peace, which has been active outside the Naval Postgraduate School and on Window of the Bay in Monterey, which is trying to bring some sense to what's going on in this world with a warmonger president. And it also, as I say, it's mostly active on the peninsula, but it's another organization that deserves a lot of credit for doing things. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Buenas tardes, concilio y alcalde. Mi nombre es Marina Zárate, vivo en el Distrito 2. Soy voluntaria para el equipo de vecindarios prósperos de Salinas con la organización VHC. Y queremos agradecer al concejal Barrera por reunirse con nuestra base de residentes, la escuelita de involucramiento cívico, quiero compartir que la prioridad número 1, basado en las encuestas del presupuesto de la ciudad del año fiscal 2026-2027, continúa siendo vivienda, y con esto asegurar que cuenta con suficientes empleos para implementar las ordenanzas de estabilización de alquiler, y que las viviendas que serán construidas en Boronda se construyan las viviendas a precio accesible para nuestra comunidad, basado en nuestro salario. Además que colectamos 1,300 encuestas. También continuamos caminando cada distrito para documentar las necesidades y mejoras que necesitamos que sean atendidas con urgencia. Caminé y documenté 84 necesidades y mejoras con domicilios específicos. Esto es una demostración más de nuestro compromiso para mejorar nuestra comunidad de Salinas. Esperamos que sea tomada con la seriedad.
Thank you.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
Good afternoon, City Council, Mayor. My name is Marina Zarate, and I'm from District 2. And I'm also a volunteer with Thriving Neighborhoods from BHC. I want to first thank Councilmember Barrera because he had a meeting with the base of the residents from the civic engagement, and we were able to establish some priorities there. Number one priority from the surveys of 2026-2027, the number one priority is housing. We need to have enough housing and enough people or staff to be able to implement the ordinances of rent stabilization. We also need more affordable houses to be built for the community, but these houses also have to agree with the salaries that we are earning. We also were able to complete 1,300 surveys, and we also walked the other districts so we can find out the needs that they have and what do they need and what areas do they need improvement and what do we have to address urgently. We were able to identify 84 needs of specific improvements, and we also walked all these districts, so that shows the commitment that we have to improve our community of Salinas. So we hope that you take everything that we've done seriously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes a los miembros del concilio y buenas tardes a todo el público. Soy Jesús Verduzco, vivo en el distrito número 3 y soy voluntario con el equipo VHC, Vecindarios Prósperos en Salinas. Esta tarde quiero mencionar algunas necesidades que son prioridad en esta ciudad. Vivienda, que se implementen las ordenanzas y se requiere otro empleado por parte de la ciudad. Desarrollo económico, más oportunidades de empleo para todos y mejorar el sueldo por hora. Infraestructura, que se preste más atención en mejorar calles y banquetas en Salinas. Servicios municipales, mejorar la representación del concilio. Apoyo para jóvenes y mayores. Incluir equipo y servicios de calidad en parques y áreas comunes. Seguridad. Contar con más oficiales de policía y fomentar la comunicación de esta con la comunidad. También quiero dar gracias de antemano a la señora concejal por el Distrito 3, Margaret de Arrigo, por aceptar la invitación para hablar con la comunidad. Muchas gracias.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, City Council, Mayor, and everybody that is present. My name is Jesus Verduzco, and I live in District 3. I'm a volunteer with VHC and Thriving Neighborhoods here in Salinas. And I'm here because we need to implement the ordinances, and we need more staff to be able to implement the ordinance for rent stabilization. We also need to improve economic development. We need more jobs, but we also need that those jobs are paid more by the hour. We also need improvements in infrastructure, like the streets and the curbs. We need better municipal services, and our parks and recreation areas also need improvement. But we also want to thank Council Member De Arrigo because she accepted the invitation to talk with the community. Thank you.
Buenas tardes, concejales. Es mi primera vez aquí. Mi nombre es Virginia Montiel y yo vengo a presentar un caso que me pasó. Ya tiene un año, se me quemó la casa, no completa, fue un 6%, y tiene como un mes que me dijeron que tengo que desalojar y se me hace injusto que esperaron tanto tiempo para poderme avisar. Y estoy aquí porque no quiero, muchas personas nos ha pasado esto y a mí es la primera vez, pero me tomaron de sorpresa porque yo pensé, fue un 6%. Y de la noche a la mañana me dicen, ¿sabes que ya no es elegible para regresar aquí? Y entonces mis cosas todavía se quedaron adentro. Me hubieran dicho desde un principio, saca tus cosas, busca, y no, hasta ahorita me dieron apenas 4 días para sacar todas mis cosas de la casa y todo eso. Y no quiero que nos siga pasando a más gente porque no creo que sea yo la única. Y tengo pruebas, de la propiedad me dijo que la iban a reconstruir, y no es cierto. Nomás fue un 6% lo que se quemó, no fue todo. Y hasta ahorita estoy sacando mis cosas de ahí. Y me llegó la notificación, no por la agencia, sino que agarraron a un abogado para que me notificara que ya puedo sacar mis cosas. Gracias, nomás quiero que tengan en cuenta esto. Gracias.
Good afternoon. It's the very first time I come before you and speak. My name is Virginia Montiel, and I want to talk to you about a case that's happening to me. A year ago, my house burned down. It didn't burn down completely. It was just like 6%. But the thing is that right now, they're telling me that I have to leave. And that took me totally by surprise because the house was not totally burnt down. It was just 6%. Now they're telling me that they're evicting me from my house. They say that I can't go back and I still have things inside. So why didn't they let me know that I was gonna leave the house and I couldn't come back? Now they're saying they have to rebuild it. It's not true because it was only burned 6%. And I received a notification from a lawyer telling them that I had 4 days to get all my things out of my house. It wasn't even the agency that told me. And why didn't they tell me from the beginning, when I was leaving my house, that I wasn't able to come back? Now I only have 4 days to get all of my stuff out. So I want you to know what is happening, because if this happens to me, it means that it's happening to other people. So I want you to be informed what is happening out there.
Thank you.
City Manager, can we have somebody from our staff contact her, please?
Buenas tardes, concilio y alcalde. Mi nombre es Nidia Soto, organizadora de Vecindarios Prósperos con la organización VHC. Estamos aquí para alzar la voz, compartirles con ustedes 424 domicilios con direcciones exactas, 424 que los personas aquí documentaron y caminaron calle por calle, y aún hay muchas más necesidades de mejoras en nuestras ciudades salinas. En los 6 distritos. Agradecemos a los concejales porque extendimos una invitación a cada concejal para reunirse con nuestro equipo de vecindarios prósperos, la escuelita. El concejal Sandoval ya atendió, la concejal de La Rosa, el concejal Salazar, de Rigo. Tenemos una junta pendiente para el lunes y pedimos al alcalde que se una con nosotros este lunes para escuchar la comunidad. He escuchado mucho que repiten y repiten que no se juntan con la comunidad. Nosotros queremos y estamos incitándolos a venir a nuestros grupos, a traer nosotros la comunidad a ustedes y fomentar la confianza que está quebrada, parece, ¿verdad? Entonces, por favor, tomen en consideración estas invitaciones. Estamos haciendo todo lo posible para restaurar todo lo que está pasando aquí y para que tomen en cuenta la voz de la comunidad. La primera invitación fue para el concejal José Luis Barajas. Lamentablemente, pues está pasando por la situación que está pasando. A nadie merece pasar por situaciones así. Esperamos que se mejore pronto y pues estará en nuestras oraciones. Es un joven muy joven y tiene mucho por delante. Los esperamos. Por favor, respondan.
Good afternoon. My name is Nidia Soto, and I am an organizer with VHC. And, well, right now here, I want to thank all the council members, and I also have here 424 surveys with the exact address. We have been going to all the districts, to the 6 districts. We have been walking them, and we have been able to identify many needs. I want to thank to all the council members that were willing to meet with us. We have reached out to all the council members. We already had a meeting with Sandoval. We also appreciate Salazar de la Rosa. We're going to have a meeting with Yarrigo. We already have it programmed for Monday. We're inviting you, Mr. Mayor, if you can join this meeting. And we wanted to meet with Jose Luis Salazar, but sadly, he's going through the situation. He's young. We wish that he gets better soon. This is something that we don't wish anybody to have to go through. But we want to restore the trust. We're here because we've heard many times that you have not been communicating with the community. So we're here to offer that opportunity so they can sit with you and that we can rekindle the trust that has been broken. So we're here to give you this invitation so you can meet with the community and restore the trust that we need. Thank you.
I think you push that button. Yeah, right there. Gotcha. There you go. Ooh, big money. Tax dollars.
Hi, again, Mary Ann Warden. I'm here to inform you. Anybody watch Channel 9 and about the Buddhist temple and the story about how they've rebuilt it and the story it was a wonderful, wonderful program. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and being with the Historical Commission of the county. That was one I'd been there before, but I'd never heard the whole story. Somebody should listen to it. And by the way, next month is our Portuguese, the month that the Portuguese community is recognized throughout California. And our Pentecostal will be on, I believe, June 7th in San Benito Street. And it will be our 102nd anniversary. So I just want to let you know on that. But if anybody turns on Channel 9 and listen to it, it explains the Chinese, the Filipinos, and the Japanese, their heritage out there. It was a wonderful program. So thank you. And I didn't know about that thing, but I would have been there because I just took my friend last week to the doctor. They can't find anything wrong with her lungs, but she's got, I have my own allergies, but it's been really bad in the last year or so, and they can't figure out what's going on. And it's all this air. And if you want to take a ride and go down Old Stage Road, you can smell the marijuana out there is so strong that you cannot breathe. Tell you, it's the truth. It's just the truth. I was out there. Bad. It was bad.
It's a normal for me.
All right, thanks, Marianne.
Is that good?
Buenas tardes, miembros del concilio. Primero que nada, les queremos agradecer de parte del grupo de voluntarios de VHC que se haya juntado la concejal Gloria de la Rosa. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos. El señor Andrew Sandoval. Estamos el señor Tony Barrera también en la escuelita. Y el señor Salazar llegó como un invitado, pero entendemos que no pudo juntarse con nosotros, pero nos encantaría que nos diera la oportunidad de escuchar a la gente de su distrito. Muchas gracias por haber atendido en compañía de la señora Gloria. También queremos buscar oportunidades para nuestro grupo de teatro de jóvenes que se está involucrando. Estamos en busca de oportunidades para ellos, que haya más áreas de recreación, más áreas para hacer ejercicio, más grupos de encuentros sanos. Entonces sí nos gustaría que poco a poco fueran designando un poquito de fondos para ayudar al grupo como este que se está formando. También otra área en la que me quiero enfocar son en la área que está por Sherwood. De nuevo, creo que al parecer nadie tomó en cuenta que la tienda de cigarrillos está cerca del parque y cerca de la escuela Montoro, el puente y Car Lake. Entonces sí me gustaría que averiguaran un poquito más acerca de esa tienda de cigarrillos. También por otra parte estamos caminando y nos gustaría que así como cuando andan haciendo campaña para que nosotros votemos por ustedes, nos sigan acompañando a recorrer, a hacer recorrido, a que vean cómo están las cosas en las áreas de su distrito. Muchísimas gracias, los esperamos.
Good afternoon. My name is Adriana Garcia. And first of all, I want to thank you in the name of all the volunteers from BHC. I want to thank you for meeting with us. I want to thank Gloria de la Rosa. Thank you to members Sandoval and Tony Barrera. We also invited Mr. Salazar. We appreciate that he took advantage of the opportunity and met with Mrs. Gloria. But we do want to meet with you and listen to what you have to say, because we're also looking for opportunities. For example, there is a youth theater that we are working with them. We're trying to find certain activities that are healthy, so the youth can get involved. So we would like to see if maybe some funds can be allocated for all these activities for the youth. Another thing that I want to focus on is that we've seen that next to Sherwood Hall and the park, the bridge and Car Lake, there's a store, a cigar store. When this was, we didn't realize that this was close to all these places, to a school, to a park. So I want you to put a little bit more attention to that cigar store and investigate it a little bit. And another thing that we have been walking to the different districts. And as you walk the districts, when you were looking to get a vote from us, we are hoping that you can do the same thing now. And please visit your districts, visit all your districts so you can see how the districts are right now. We want you to, as you walk the districts looking for our votes, we want you to please walk the districts now so you can see in what state they're in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peter Zalai. This is my mom. She's lived in Salinas for 53 years, and she's watched her neighborhood decline. The city has codes to preserve the basic character and quality of life in residential areas, but they have not been enforced. The result, illegally parked vehicles on streets, lawns, driveways, sidewalks, permanently stored cars, inoperable vehicles, panel trucks, trailers, tow trucks, even big rig cabs. Some residences operate like commercial yards, parking multiple work vehicles. Spaces for legitimate parking are reduced, street sweeping is impossible, and sight lines are obstructed. Some homes have piles of debris, appliances, junk, excessive planters blocking access. Yards are overgrown, sometimes taller than people. The lack of enforcement grants permission. Then there's what we call the Alvin Dump, a construction debris site in the middle of her community. It was supposed to close on March 31st. It's still operating. Gates are left open, inviting illegal dumping. I reported it a month ago. No follow-up from anyone. So my mom has a simple question. Would you want to live next to a dump? Now, a step in the right direction, the city has finally begun proactive code enforcement. That's long overdue. Hopefully there will be coordination with the LAZ and Wilden contractors and the police. But is this permanent or an election year gimmick? Every neighborhood deserves to be clean, safe, and respected. No favoritism, no inequitable enforcement. Close the Alvin Dump and make scheduled proactive code enforcement multiple times a year a permanent, reliable service for all of Salinas, for every resident in every neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Wendy Fernandez. I am a student from Everett Alvarez High School. First, I would like to thank everyone that's in here that was able to assist to this meeting. Oh, thank you. I'm part of the organization BHC, and I would like to affirm that us, the youth, have dreams to accomplish, and some of us will really like to accomplish certain goals. Like me, for example, I would like to become a journalist when I'm older, and I'm willing to do everything as possible to be it. I would like to thank Sandoval, De La Rosa, and Salazar for taking their time to watch her play. We really hope to see Derrigo and the mayor to give us the opportunity to watch her play. My classmates and I have been participating for this since we're doing community hours for high school, and I would really like to see you guys there. Thank you. Thanks for the attention.
Thank you.
Hello again. My name is Lee Jeter Stanford, and I have been attending our city council meetings to keep educating you about the animal crisis in our community and how a spay-neuter ordinance is the first step in making a real change. I'm not here to complain. I'm here providing education, resources, recommendations, and solutions to fix this problem. 30 years of doing nothing different is not working. In every city and county that has implemented this type of ordinance, a spay-neuter ordinance has effectively decreased the number of animals impacting the community, which translates into cost savings for the shelter and helping the overall budget of the city or county. I want to share this following letter. The general public has no idea what the animal crisis currently is, so here's an update. The animal shelters are full, the rescues are full, no-kill shelters are full, adoptions are at an all-time low, intake is at an all-time high. Euthanasia of healthy animals for space is at an all-time high. Breeders are surrendering entire litters, parents included. They aren't selling. Puppies, pregnant moms, and good young pets are being euthanized daily because there is no space. The chance there is a really nice home just waiting for your dog or cat is slim. Spay and neuter your pet. Train your dog. They are fine being at home while you work. They sleep most of the day anyway. There is not a line of people who have more time or can take better care of your pets than you. Stop trying to rehome them or surrender them to the shelter because you don't have time. If you need help, there are organizations that can assist with food, medical, or direct you to an organization that can help you. Please keep your pet. This letter was written by an exhausted rescue volunteer. This is going on in our community every day, all the time, and it is an expensive cost to the city. I have a solution, and I have a lot of people who are willing to lend resources to that solution. We would like to see this item be on the agenda for the city of Salinas. It will soon be on the agenda for Monterey County. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. We will go to any public comment on Zoom. All right, Ozzy.
Oh yes, hello. So I still want to sing about Salinas City Council. I have something about Salinas City Council. 3, 2, 1. Oh, Salinas City Council sucks. They ruined the community, and then they scam all the people, and then they ruined the town. And then Estana, he's a piece of shit, and he's a clown, and he sucks ass. And Mark.
Go ahead. Okay. All right. With that, thank you, everyone. We will now proceed to public hearings, and I think I'm looking for Maria, and we're going to hear about vacancy updates and recruitment and retention efforts.
So good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. I am Maria Avila, Senior Human Resources Analyst with the City of Salinas, and together with our Human Resources Analyst, Charlene Virueta, we'll be presenting to you today on the city's vacancies, recruitment, and retention efforts. There is no action required for this item. Assembly Bill 2561 requires public agencies to hold a hearing at least once per year to report on vacancy, recruitment, and retention efforts before the adoption of the budget. So today we will go over workforce vacancy, recruitment, hiring challenges we are seeing, and retention challenges, as well as give you specific information on vacancy and recruitment challenges for bargaining units whose vacancy rate is above 20%. All the data presented to you is as of December 31st, 2025. Data was tracked throughout calendar year 2025. At the end of the year, there were 668 authorized positions, 75 were vacant, which gave us a vacancy rate of 11.21%. During the calendar year, we filled 122 vacancies, and these vacancies were filled by different types of recruitment. The majority were filled by eligibility lists that were previously established by ongoing recruitment, such as those with police recruit, police officer, community service officer, and police services technicians, which did not close throughout the year. We also had new internal, external recruitments, which are open to both the public and city staff, new internal only, which are promotional positions only open to current city staff. We also had transfers, which an example would be an office technician from our community development department transferring to our library and community services department. The average days to fill vacancies is high, and some factors that contribute to high numbers is the time for a background investigation to be completed, as well as delayed start dates to relocation or personal reasons. Some of the hiring challenges that we have seen here at the city are that some positions generate more applications than others, and some require certain certification, education, and experience. And that is where we begin to see limited applicant pools for specialized fields, such as those in engineering, finance, and legal. The length of the process is also one of our challenges. The timeline for recruitment can vary by position and depend on whether we have an existing eligibility list or we need to open a recruitment. Some positions require study to establish a job description, the salary range, and where to be placed in the bargaining units. Other positions require extensive background investigations, medical examinations, and psychological exams. There's always delays with backgrounds, which are like our live scans for our non-public safety folks, as well as delayed start date due to personal reasons and for relocation. Compensation, so we're competing with other agencies in the area, public and both our private sector, which may pay more. Remote work was also one of the challenges. So some applicants are looking strictly at remote work opportunities. And until now, the city has accommodated remote work for social distancing during the pandemic or to accommodate some medical conditions. The city is addressing these obstacles by implementing remote work. So the city is in the process of finalizing our remote work policy. We're reviewing expanded referral programs. So currently the only referral program that is available is for our police officers, police recruits, and police services technicians. And we're looking to expand that to other positions. So we have started employee engagements and training. Since our city manager arrived, he has focused on employee development, training, and engagement. We have increased the number of training opportunities to include communication, customer service, employee safety, and supervision. HR has coordinated new supervisor orientation for our fire and police departments to help new supervisors be successful in their new roles. Departments are focusing on succession planning and collaborating on employee engagement activities. As a department, Human Resources has hosted different employee events throughout the year, which have included Cafecito en Pan, Tea Time with HR, and Cookies and Cocoa during the holiday season. This year, we also had a Super Bowl kickoff event that we collaborated in Library and Community Services Department and are looking forward and hosting more events throughout the year. Case-by-case analysis, an example that we currently went through in 2025, where our police services technician pay was brought up to be the same as other technician positions in the city to help with the recruitment. Hiring police services technicians is difficult due to their work schedule as they work 24/7, 365 to help support sworn law enforcement personnel. We've applied applicant feedback. Some applicants didn't know what an oral board exam was. So we created an oral board tip sheet, and there's a link to this resource in our job flyers located on our governmentjobs.com page. We've accommodated weekend and evening testing to widen the applicant pool that may not be available to take a test during regular business hours. And we've also tested in the evening for clerical positions, and we've tested early morning for maintenance positions. We've reduced applicant barriers and updating job descriptions to be more inclusive with education and experience. And we have been more flexible with submission of required documentation. An example would be an arborist certificate. So we're no longer requiring it at time of application, but need to submit by oral board date. We have continued outreach and community engagement. In an effort to reach our local talent, we've attended different career fairs at Hartnell, CSUMB, and local high schools such as North High, Alisal, MCOE, and Rancho Cielo. We also have reached out to our ROP here in the city to see where we can collaborate. HR has also participated in community events to include National Night Out, the Salinas Air Show, and different events at Northridge Mall. In 2025, 125 vacancies were created by either retirements, internal promotions, voluntary separations, involuntary separation, position reallocations, or other, which include medical separations and overhires. I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague, Dardine Virueta, to present on the bargaining groups.
Good evening. My name is Arlene Birota, and I will be presenting on the second half of this presentation. So our first slide here, it outlines the groups of the City of Salinas, the number of vacancies, the number of full-time authorized positions, and the vacancy percentage rate per group at the end of the 2025 calendar year. It's important to note that this chart does not include the city manager, city attorney, or the following 3 positions which were not assigned a group by the end of the calendar year, which were the cybersecurity specialist, the public safety information officer, and the public safety recruitment coordinator. Per AB 2561 regulations, we will be providing information on the groups that had a vacancy rate of 20% or higher, which are outlined in red. We have the Service Employee and International Union Crew Supervisors, also known as SEIU Crew Soups, which had a 28.57% vacancy rate, Confidential Management, which had a 26.66% vacancy rate, and the Police Managers Association, which had a 20% vacancy rate. We will start by reviewing the SAU Crew Supervisor Group, which had a 28.57% vacancy rate. In the calendar year 2025, we had received 38 applications and filled 1 position through an open until filled recruitment, which was the Urban Forestry Crew Supervisor. Following internal promotions and at the end of the calendar year, the Urban Forestry Crew Supervisor position and the Wastewater Crew Supervisor position were vacant. We are happy to report that the Urban Forestry Crew Supervisor position was filled in February, and the Wastewater Crew Supervisor position was filled in March, leaving this group with a vacancy rate of 0% to date. Our next group we will focus on is Confidential Management. This group ended the 2025 calendar year with a 26.66% vacancy rate. We received 92 applications throughout the year, and 2 positions were filled in this group with external and internal recruitments, which was the Assistant Finance Director and the Accounting Manager. 2 recruitments were also run in 2025 calendar year to fill the vacancies of Assistant City Attorney and the Deputy Director of Economic Development. Although we are still looking to fill the Assistant City Attorney position, We were able to fill the Deputy Director of Economic Development in January 2026, leaving us with 3 positions to fill in this group. Assistant City Attorney, which we're still currently accepting applications for, Economic Development Analyst, which was recently unfrozen, and Finance Manager, which we're working with the Finance Department to finalize the job description. We will now be taking a look at the Police Managers Association group, which ended the year with a 20% vacancy rate. We had 15 applications we received in the last calendar year, and 2 internal recruitments were run in January 2025, and both eligibility lists were used to fill 4 vacancies during the spring and summer of 2025. The same eligibility list was then used to fill 4 more positions in January 2026, leaving us with 3 police sergeant vacancies to date and a 10% vacancy rate. Looking at the calendar year, we filled 122 vacancies, onboarded 37 temporary positions across various divisions, reviewed over 4,000 applications within the 91 recruitments we ran. When compared to the 2024 calendar year, we had a similar amount of separations throughout the year. We filled 122 vacancies in 2025 compared to 144 in 2024, and had 10 less vacant positions at the end of the calendar year. Overall, we had a 13.84% vacancy rate last year in 2024, and then in the calendar year 2025, we had an 11.21% vacancy rate. We hope to continue to see the downward trend in the upcoming year. That wraps up our presentation for you guys today. Thank you for your time. We're available for questions.
Margaret, any questions?
Thank you. I found 2 people that speak faster than I do. I was trying to keep up with both of you. So I wanted to ask if you have any idea of how many that you're hiring are local. Is that, I know that's a focus, but are we successful in hiring people that were born and raised here that are more likely to stay here?
We do have a list of people who currently live in Salinas. So employees who reside in Monterey County, so we have that. So 82% of our employees live in Monterey County. When we're thinking about public safety, 68.44% live in Monterey County. Employees residing in Salinas specifically is 59%, and public safety residing in Salinas is 48%. So we do see a big number of employees residing in the county in Salinas.
Okay, thank you. I've got more comments, no more questions. Thank you.
Gloria?
Thank you. I have a question on remote, the employees that are working remotely. How many employees are working remotely right now?
I think it varies, as Maria had mentioned. It depends on if there's an emergency, if someone's sick, depending on the department, they'll go ahead and accommodate. I don't believe we have an exact number. It's case by case.
Okay, so how do you qualify, just for the community that's out there that maybe doesn't know, how do you qualify as an employee to go work remotely from home? Right? Remote is from home.
Yes, that's correct. So at this time, we don't have an exact policy. It's just case by case. I don't know if someone else wants to.
We don't have a policy?
At the moment, the policy is still being routed for approval. So at the time, we just have a couple employees who are working remote. If they're ill and working remote from home, it's case by case situation. We don't have an exact policy at the time.
Patricia Peñalosa, HR Manager. So Gloria, to your question, we don't have a policy in place, and we don't have employees that are working remotely on a fixed schedule. So it is case by case, depending on the circumstances.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Aurelio?
Yes, in terms of the one vacancy we have regarding the assistant city attorney, just wanted to know approximately more or less how long has that position been vacant? My feeling is that it's been vacant for quite some time, just trying to get a general idea of what that has been. In terms of the responsibilities that falls under that particular position, how have those responsibilities been picked up by the department? And in terms of being active and recruiting for this particular position, like what challenges have we seen? Quite often I hear about the private sector and the city having to compete with the private sector and, providing salary and wages between private sector and city. If you could answer those 3 questions, that would be great.
So from our notes here, it seems like the position has been vacant for over 4 years, but I do know we're currently actively trying to recruit for the position. We're just looking for qualified candidates at the time.
And just to add to that, so those 4 years that it's been vacant, existing staff has had to take on load on the caseload or through a contract is what we've had to do. And we are actively recruiting. We recently brought an item to council to increase the salary for the attorneys. And we did reopen the recruitment in hopes that we'll attract some talent because that was an issue in the past.
Follow up, if I may. So in terms of having to contract some of that, some of those professional services, do we know more or less over those 4 years? How much have we been spending?
I don't know the cost.
Councilmember, it's hard to say the exact cost. Most of it has been absorbed in-house with the litigation being contracted out, and there is a cost associated with that litigation, but I don't have that answer for you right now.
Okay. Thank you for answering those questions, and I'll follow up with the city manager. Thank you.
All right, Tony?
Thank you. As you're working on reducing application barriers, I do see in the city that morale is picking up. What kind of system do we have in place where employees can give input of what can better their departments? Do they have those types of opportunities where an employee can suggest or put something in writing and make it better?
I think a good opportunity for that would be during staff meetings. The departments hold staff meetings, and our community department holds them at least once a month, and that's all hands on deck type of meeting. But as an actual mechanism for them to give feedback, that's something we can definitely look into, Councilmember Barrera.
Yeah, I think of all the over 4,000 plus applicants on different levels, how do you see that you're reducing? Because I have heard from past applicants that they've applied, but for some reason the process took too long and they were able to work for another city. What do you think we're doing better in those types of barriers to hire people?
I can give you one example. So since I run the police department's recruitment processes, we stopped asking them for physical agility at the beginning of the application process. And that is because it's costly. It's $110 for applicants to go take this test at the academy. So if they go through the interview process and let's say they pass the interview, then that's when we say like, hey, now we have to make sure you're physically fit or physically able to do these duties, and then that's when they go. So, we're trying to help our applicants that way as well.
Yeah.
And Tony, to your question, we have tried to streamline the process, and I think last year I had shared our process. We didn't share it this year, but just all of the steps that are required in our recruitment process to make sure it's fair. But we have received feedback, and we've implemented it as much as we can, and more so with what Maria had mentioned earlier, where we don't require applicants to submit a lot of the documentation when they apply. We know that was a barrier for employees. For instance, their education, their diploma, they were having to track that down, and maybe that was so long ago that they didn't have it anymore. So we're no longer requiring that at time of application, so that helps them. But in terms of the process itself, the steps remain the same. What we do try to do is just try to screen applications as quickly as we can and keep the process moving as quickly as we can.
And just one last question. Thank you for that. Again, on the retention, I know employees leave for different reasons, maybe a better position, maybe better be closer to family, whatever the reason is. But do we provide an opportunity, like an exit interview, where employees can share with us, hopefully honest comments of how we can better our city?
We do. We do offer to meet with all employees. Sometimes it's not possible, just depending on if it's an abrupt resignation. But otherwise, we do schedule exit interviews with our employees, and we have a questionnaire, and we ask all of those questions. And we usually get feedback, good feedback that we can go back and use and share with the department.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Andrew?
So in other jurisdictions, what positions have we seen kind of move towards remote work or like a hybrid format? Other cities or counties that we're considering?
So we haven't researched specific positions, but we do know that neighboring agencies do offer some sort of a hybrid remote work policy, and that's why we're working to implement the same, because just as Tony just asked about the exit interview, it's something that we do here, not all the time, but it is a request for remote work, some sort of hybrid option. So it's something that we're going to continue researching and hope to implement pretty soon.
Okay, great. And then I know for a long time, some positions required degrees, but we're seeing more move towards work experience or certifications or things like that. Are we moving towards, giving people more credit for actual experience instead of just requiring a strict degree?
We are, and so you'll see in some of our, and so what we do is as vacancies come up, we visit some of those job descriptions and we'll tier the experience and education so that they have more ways of applying and being eligible, and not just requiring degrees. They could have a high school diploma, for instance, and experience instead of a degree and few less experience.
Okay, and is that going to expand towards management positions or what? Have we kind of established what that's going to look like?
We've done that for those as well. We don't have an exact template for it, but we have done it also for the higher level positions for some of the managers.
Okay, great. Those are all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Go ahead and take public comment. I do want to let the room know that we are scheduled to have a hard stop at 6 o'clock because there's a special study session afterwards that's scheduled. So we'll move through this, and that will impact the rest of the agenda.
Hi, good afternoon. Jose Guerra, Montebello community. I don't know why it's so hard to hire people in Salinas. I said this, I think, a few weeks ago, the same thing. Are we just not getting the right candidates? Are we just not doing the process correctly? I mean, I know law enforcement's a little bit different than most of the other ones, but I mean, first is a background check, right? It's pretty basic. Fill out the application, background check, bring in your documents. How hard can it really be? I'm just saying, I don't see why it's so hard to hire somebody here. Are we just hiring our friends? Are we hiring people we like? Or is that what's going on in the city of Salinas? Because we're a diverse city, and I believe that everybody deserves a chance to work here if they want to work here. So how are we doing it? I'd like to know those answers. I'd like somebody to give me a call and let me know, because how can we have so many vacancies? That's money just sitting there where we can help people that need stuff done in the city. We can't do that if we don't hire the right people. And if we're not doing the right thing, maybe our department is broken. Maybe we need to go back to the department and figure it out or reconstruct it or do something different. I don't know. I mean, is HR involved? Who's training the people that are supposed to be doing this? Do we have adequate training? I mean, you can have a degree, doesn't make you smart, I'll tell you that right now. It's great to have a degree, but some people don't have any common sense. And that's really good. That goes a long way in the community. When you can actually talk to somebody like a regular person, goes a long way. You don't need a degree for that. I'm sorry. It does help, I know. You get a better job doing it. But it's not a requirement that makes you a better employee. It doesn't. We need to find out what's going on in that department and why can't we hire people to fill these positions? How hard can it really be? Anyways, thank you. God bless you. Those are all my comments.
Daniel Munoz, I got a suggestion. If you guys want to hire people, maybe get us pesticide air monitors so people can know what we're breathing. Why would somebody want to move over here and work here if they're going to get poisoned? I don't know, just food for thought. Thank you.
All right, anybody on Zoom? All right, we'll go ahead and close public comment. This is not an action item, and with that, we are going to any final comments?
Oh, I just want to say, I've seen so much improvement in the last 2 years from the HR department, so visible across everywhere I go. I think you might be the only department that doesn't have like a marketing team or people posting about the amazing work, but I really like the shift that I've seen to try to recruit more and find innovative ways. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember. Okay.
Anybody else? Any other council?
Okay, any final comments?
Just want to thank the staff for
Mayor?
the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, Tony, okay, Tony?
Yes, I want to thank the city manager. You know, in his own personal way, he has improved the morale in the city. And I do also want to thank the HR team. I think they're doing a great job, and sometimes it's difficult to hire people, especially if, well, they don't qualify for certain positions. But again, I want to thank the team for doing a great job, and to Ms. Marina Horta Gallegos, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you, Tony. All right, thank you, and very thorough, and I'll echo Councilmember Sandoval's comments on praising your good work in terms of helping rebuild the city and its workforce, so thank you. All right, so I'm getting, so we're going to, just so I can set expectations, we're going to hear from the, and then so here's where we're going to go. We're scheduled to adjourn. We have a special session scheduled for 6:30. We're going to receive the report from fire, and then we are going to do one consent item, and then everything else will be continued, and then we'll jump to the special session. So just to manage expectations, that's what we'll be doing. So with that, Chief, you've got the bridge.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and everybody watching at home. I will move as quickly as possible, so hopefully we can avoid questions at the end. But I'm Sam Klemick, your Fire Chief. I'm happy to be here tonight to just share some of our story of 2025 year Salinas Fire Department. Essentially, we've been working very diligently to implement the elements of our master plan from 2019 and revisited again in 2023. So what we've been able to do in 2025 is complete our command staff restructuring, switching some job descriptions and some job titles to add better oversight and better control of our division assignments. We have 3 division chiefs now, and we have our 3 battalion chiefs. Battalion chiefs that supervise the day-to-day operations of our platoons and all of our fire stations, and 3 division chiefs that oversee EMS, training, and fire prevention. Our personnel, again, it ebbs and flows throughout the year, but we had, for 2025, 108 personnel, 98 of those being our suppression staff and 10 being our professional staff, prevention folks, and civilian folks alongside our suppression of 98. By the numbers, our daily staffing, we have 6 fire engines, 2 ladder trucks, and 1 battalion chief on duty every day in the city. Our minimum staffing fluctuates between 24 and 26, depending on the day. But each engine, each piece of apparatus is generally staffed with a paramedic. We have 68 EMTs on staff, as well as 25 paramedics. And we responded to over 17,800 calls last year. 28 of those folks working for us are hazmat certified and support our hazardous materials program. We are the hazmat team for the County of Monterey, as well as have agreements with San Benito County and shortly Santa Cruz County for providing those services as well. We do have in-house mechanics, 6 of those that do keep our fleet on the road, as well as 4 fire inspectors and now our deputy fire marshal in Sean Branagh. One of our goals that we've been talking about a lot is keeping our fleet on the road. As we know, and you've heard me say many times, that our replacement schedule for our engines has been really turned upside down after COVID because of the crisis in the fire apparatus building arena. This is a nationwide problem that you've probably seen in recent news, that there are several large cities and small cities that are getting on board with filing lawsuits and getting to the bottom of it. But I am happy to report that from council support in 2024, we were able to order Type 6 fire engine. That's our wildland, small wildland unit to get into our nooks and crannies in Natividad Creek Park and some of our very tight areas. One Type 1 fire engine, that's the pumper that you see every day running around on the street, and as well as a ladder truck. Those will start to come in later this year, another one next year, and another one in 2028. And then in 2026, we were able to order additional apparatus that will start to arrive 2027 and then in 2030. Current staffing versus demand. Demand, call volume is very similar. We still use the standard that we've talked about in our 2024 report. Our national standard that we look at is, national standard is 1.2 firefighters per 1,000 people. Our western region slightly less is a standard with 0.97 firefighters per person or per 1,000 residents, and Salinas is currently at 0.58. Our staffing per population should be around in the 160 area, but again, depending on where we get with ebbs and flows in staffing and hiring, that's a goal we have set for us. We were able to accomplish several things in our fire academy and graduating one of our largest fire academies last year and getting those folks off probation just a couple months ago. It's been great. As I said, 17,858 calls. When we break that down by type, EMS calls being the lion's share at almost 12,000 calls a year. Next being the good intent calls, and then fires at 884. That's a significant number because that does indicate, compared to other jurisdictions, we still have a fire problem here. And that's for a number of reasons. That's residential structure fires, that's outside vegetation fires, rubbish fires, and the like. Responding to the unsheltered and some of the fire issue that goes along with that, current numbers that we are looking at are about 1,000 calls a year related to unsheltered fires in the outdoors. We do that with 23 personnel, as I said, looking at our 2007 numbers. We had 10,900 calls that year, 23 personnel and 7 apparatus. I'll point that out as just a change on this slide, as it says 8 apparatus. We did that with 7. In 2016, we did add an additional ladder truck with staffing of 24 when we ran just under 14,000 calls. Fast forward to 2025, again, almost 18,000 calls with daily personnel staffing at 24 with our 8 apparatus. We know we have growth on our horizon that we need to address. 153 residential structure fires. These are our most labor-intensive responses that require the most apparatus and the most personnel to deal with. We did that 153 times last year. As you can see, 485 outside rubbish fires. Those are some of the fires that I talked about that have to deal with our homeless population, vegetation fires, and some of the encampments and things like that. And then vehicle fires at 70, other fires at 15. So again, those are very similar numbers to 2024 and the year before that in terms of our fire loss. Mutual aid, we responded to 111 mutual aid calls where we gave mutual aid, and 94 times last year we received mutual aid. That's been a goal of the fire department, is to get that number in balance a little bit. So we're balancing out the amount of time that we share resources with other jurisdictions because of our call volume. Looking at this chart shows a little bit of where we're still falling short in our response times. Our response times still are above the national standard. For fire responses, that's 5 minutes and 20 seconds, and for EMS calls, that's 5 minutes flat. So as you can see, this chart, this table does show that we are still struggling just to meet the demand. There's a number of reasons for that: traffic calming, sheer call volume, and the number of times that we have concurrent calls going on. So you can see our median response at 6 minutes and 23 seconds for fires and 6 minutes and 9 seconds for EMS responses. The 90th percentile number refers to basically that takes out the outliers of our numbers, right? And really focuses on 90% of the time what we're doing, the types of calls we're responding to. And if you see those 9-minute marks, that's a routine thing for us now, especially in certain areas of the north and northeast part of Salinas, where it's been tough for us to get to, and that's where Station 7 is contemplated to address. Some of these response time numbers, I will admit to you that Station 1, the renovations that went on Station 1, where we had to rehouse Station 1 crews to Sherwood Hall, have something to do with some of these response times as well. So in full transparency, since we've been able to get Station 1 open again, we track these numbers closely, as you see in your monthly reports that I give to you now. You'll be able to see that. So we'll continue to watch these closely. Also, January 1st, having put Engine 7 on the street in a pilot is giving us some good data to help us really hone in on what our next moves will be. Unit hour utilization, we've improved a little bit in this respect, but you can see that still Medic Engine 1 down at Fire Station 1, Medic Engine 2 at Laurel Drive, and Medic Engine 3 down in the South District off Abbott are still in our overutilization category. What that means, overutilization means it's the amount of time that the unit is overcommitted or not available for the next call that comes in. You'll see in a chart that's coming up here the amount of times that we had concurrent calls, 2 calls, 3 calls, 4 calls going at one time, that we have to have units coming from other areas where that also contributes to those response time increases. So with that, to talk about our emergency medical services, I'd like to bring Division Chief Stephen Christie. He's our Division Chief of EMS, and he's going to talk for just a minute about that.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. Stephen Christie, Division Chief of EMS. I'll try to keep this quick for you here, but I'd first like to thank you for this opportunity to share what our personnel are doing in the EMS side and as we contribute to the annual report. I'm extremely proud to present some of the information to you over the next couple of minutes here and explain and show and demonstrate the hard work, the dedication, the professionalism of our personnel, and show that we're making a difference every single day, every single call. As you look at the slide in front of you here, I'd like you to take note of the 2 numbers. First, the red box, 11,487, and then most importantly, the upper box in blue, 50, which I'll explain what that truly means here in just a minute. Like the chief mentioned, our call volume has continued to increase, and that is obviously reflected in EMS calls as well, as we continue to increase about 400 more calls in the EMS response than last year alone. This year has been one of continued growth in the demand of EMS. In front of you, the graph shows that we responded to just under 11,500 medical calls alone. While those are actual medical emergencies where there was a patient on scene, very likely our personnel exited the apparatus, made contact, performed an assessment, spoke to our residents, our community, and possibly treated or brought them to the hospital. The true number is closer to 12,500 medical calls that were actually dispatched to every single year. The discrepancy is when there's a false alarm or a case where a patient may have left the scene already, or finding out that it may be a lift assist or something as opposed to a medical emergency. In addition to the 11,500 calls, we responded to just over 1,200 vehicle accidents. Those are either small, minimal fluids in the roadway type vehicle accidents, or a handful of those are requiring enhanced auto extrication, technical rescue to actually remove the patients from the vehicles and ultimately get them to a hospital, whether here or up in the Bay Area. One trend that we have noticed is the high-speed collisions where our apparatus are requiring more and more resources to actually extricate patients, and it's a lot more task and demand for our personnel. Now, moving on to the blue box, and this is one of my the highlights of my position that I get to share with you every single year. Last year, we reported that we had 50 cardiac arrest field saves. And that's an increase from the previous year in 2024 where we recorded, and I was happy to report 36 field saves. This year or last year, 2025, we reported a total of 50. To give you a understanding of that, what that actually is our personnel arriving at scene, assessing a patient that is not conscious, they're not breathing, they're in cardiac arrest, their heart has stopped, they're clinically dead or deceased for lack of better terms. Our personnel provide advanced life support to the highest degree. This is something that we train on every month, every year. We go through a pretty strenuous and a very thorough CPR as well as advanced airway training. And fortunately for 50 of our community members, they got a second chance at life. And and that is something that I am extremely proud of. Last year, just to give you a glimpse as to what that number truly means, when we attempted or provided resuscitation, we attempted to resuscitate 122 patients. Out of those 122, 50 of them, we got pulses back. And many of those actually exited the emergency room and received further care. That's a total 41% success rate for cardiac resuscitation, which to the bystander may sound like 41% isn't the greatest, but keep in mind that the national average is 23 to 29%. And so just to give you a better understanding, your Salinas firefighters are exceeding the standard in every single day, but especially in the resuscitation field. We're also investing in the future of our division. Last year, 5 of our EMTs promoted to the role of paramedic. As you can see in the slides there, we actually do have 2 of them in the room. Of the 5, to my right here is firefighter Jack Baird, and across the room is acting engineer Abe Huco. Of the 5, 2 of the members that promoted to the role of paramedic were sponsored through our organization to attend the South Bay Paramedic Program, which they attended 14 months of school to improve their level of service and actually enhance their training, and they advanced up to the role of paramedic. One of the 50 field saves I spoke about just a minute ago was actually performed by acting engineer Abe Huco over there, trying to avoid eye contact with me. But 2 months into his career as a paramedic for our department, he was able to successfully resuscitate and perform his first field save for a patient that did walk out of the emergency room. They live out of the area, but our follow-up, they are alive and recovering well. Something, again, that we can be extremely proud of, how early on he's already putting that hard work to use for our department, for our community. None of this would be possible without your continued support. Like I mentioned, the city has continued to assist us with sponsoring our firefighters, working their way and advancing their education in paramedic school, and advancing our technology in new equipment and service that we can deliver to the community. Your support for us advancing and maintaining that innovation and staying current with technology and education is how we can ensure that we are delivering our promise to our community, which is the highest level of service available. I'd like to thank you again for your partnership, and I said I'll keep it short here because I am speaking again next week as we recognize the EMS Week proclamation, where I look forward to sharing a few more details and some information and hopefully give you a little better glimpse into the EMS division of our department. Thank you very much. And end of report, I'd like to hand this over to Division Chief David Fury from our training division.
Well, and thank you for your report. Unfortunately, I am going to have to stop here and continue the rest of the meeting until next week's council meeting because we have to get the room set up for the special session with with the school board. So
Mayor, sorry to interrupt, but here's what I'll need. I'll need a motion from a council member to continue this item and the remaining items on the agenda to your next meeting on May 12th.
Can I make some comments really quick?
It all needs to be continued. We're out of time. We're well past
Okay.
6 p.m.
So you need a motion?
Yes.
Okay, so move to continue.
is there a second? There's a second. Okay. Patty? Call for the question to continue?
We have to continue it.
Councilmember Barrera?
Yes.
Councilmember DeRigo?
Yes.
Councilmember De La Rosa?
Yes.
Councilmember Salazar?
Yes.
Councilmember Sandoval?
No.
Mayor Donahue?
Yes.
Motion
Okay.
passes.
Thank you, everyone. The rest of the agenda from this point on will be continued to the May 12th council meeting, and we'll take 10 for a changing the set.